Do you believe in reincarnation? I don't. I know it's real. Let me explain. This isn't really anything new to me. Like, I've read about reincarnation. I heard about it as a kid, and it was just mostly just a fun thing to think about, back then. And I never really gave it too much serious thought. I gave it a lot of thought. I just never really took it seriously because my problem with it was thinking about it non-linearly, Like, if you could go back in time and, for instance, you come back as a cow that was the burger you ate that one time, or a chicken that was the chicken breast you ate that one time, or maybe you come back as your grandparents and you choose not to have kids, and then the timeline kind of just splits off into a bunch of different timelines. And so I always thought that was kind of weird, so I never took it seriously. But we moved out here, and we have chickens, we have cows, we have a guinea, we have cats, we have dogs. There's all sorts of wildlife out here: deer, bats, possums, raccoons, spiders, everything basically, except for all the stuff from Australia. Anyway. I have a story for you that kind of illustrates my point. So, one year we decided to get some little mini chickens, and they were so cute. And there was this one rooster in particular that was like this little miniature red rooster, and he was an ornery mother clucker, right? And it's just like, he's just a miniature rooster. Like, you don't take him too seriously, right? No big deal. Just a cute little asshole. But I started to notice a pattern. He would bully all the little chicks, when they were young enough, or old enough, I guess. He would bully all the little hens, and he'd work his way up to the bigger hens. And then once he got used to that, he'd work his way up to the other roosters. And they would keep him in place for a while. They'd keep him in line, but eventually, everybody got used to it. It was just the status quo. You know what I'm saying? And he worked his way up to us, people. And I remember the very first day I realized I was going to have to do something about this guy. So my daughter and I were out feeding the animals. We fed Bo, we fed the chicks, fed the cats. She's just like her dad. She loves animals. She really loves the chicks. We went out there to see all the little chicks. And anyway, I went to get some hay to give Bo in addition to his sweet feed, and that little rooster comes up, and I hear my daughter go, "Daddy, look!" And I turn around, and he jumps up like 2 feet in the air and kicks her in the chest. Now luckily it just caught her shirt. It didn't scratch her or nothing, but it scared her. And she was crying, and I had to console her, and I knew right then and there that this guy is dangerous, and I'm going to have to put him down. Now, I'm not a violent person. I love life. I love nature. And I try and give everyone the benefit of the doubt. I'll give you 1,000 chances if that's what it takes for you to grow as a person, or learn whatever lesson you've got to learn and deal with your internal stuff, you know. I'll give you grace, I'll give you forgiveness, but once you cross the line, like, that's it, you know. And I'm not gonna get violent with people or nothing. I'm just gonna cut them off. But in the case of this rooster, I can't just cut him off. I can't just pawn him off on somebody else knowing full well he's a violent mother clucker. So I decided I was gonna have to kill him. And that's what I did. And it's very hard. I don't know if you've ever heard or if you've ever had to deal with killing a rooster. They're very hard to kill. That's what that song's about, basically, except I think it's about his veteran dad that they called the rooster. But that's why they called him the rooster, because roosters are hard to kill. You can break their neck like 3 times and they'll heal from it and come back cocky again. So it took me like a week to get this guy. But I finally got him, and I buried him at the end of the property. Tell me why this mother clucker gets born again, done passed on his genes, made an exact copy of himself, same feathers, same color pattern and behavior pattern and everything. I gave him a chance, though. I gave him 1,000 chances, and it was the same pattern again. Starting out with the little hens, working his way up to the bigger hens, other roosters, then us. And anytime, like, whenever this guy starts trying to sneak up behind me and charge me and jump up and try, I don't know what they're trying to do, like they think they're going to rule over us or something, but anyway. And once they cross that line, that's it. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to kill this guy again. But he came back stronger. Took me a month to get this guy. But I finally got him. And buried him at the end of the property. Now the third time, you know, same thing, hatched, same pattern, gave him the benefit of the doubt, and then just yesterday, I was out, I fed Bo, fed the chickens, went back to my car. I didn't even hear him coming this time. Like, usually I could hear him shuffling across the ground, but I didn't hear him this time. Luckily, I went to get the keys out of my pocket, and I saw him behind me, bowing up, flapping his feathers, getting ready to jump up and pounce. But I turned around and I caught him, and he was like, ah, 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 you know, and he took off trying to run off. He'll back away and kind of like side-eye me and keep backing away and side-eye me, and then when it's like those ghosts in Mario 64, you know, or any of the Mario games, really, you turn your back and they start following you. You turn around and they stop. But anyway, that's when I knew I had to get him. And I didn't even waste no time. I started chasing him, and he wore me plumb out. It's the middle of the summer. It's hot as fuck here in Oklahoma. And I felt like I was going to have a heat stroke or a heart attack or something, so I finally gave up. And I went home, took a shower, went to bed, woke up the next morning, and I realized I've been going about it the wrong way this whole time. So today I woke up, went out, fed the animals, and he tried me again. But this time, I had a strategy. I I pulled from the wisdom of my ancestors. I looked inside myself and realized I can't just, I'm like, probably in the summer I'm like 130 pounds. Usually I'm 150 pounds. It's, if I chase this guy around full sprint, I'm gonna tire before him. I'm burning more energy. So I just started stalking him like Michael Myers. I just casually going after him like, and he kept running and running and running and running, and I just kept chasing him around the Bose enclosure. Just slowly but surely, slow and steady wins the race. And he did. He finally started getting tired. And I wouldn't let him drink water. I wouldn't let him rest in the shade. I just kept stalking him until finally he decided to go into the chicken coop and rest. And I don't know if he thought he was going to hide or what. I don't know if he thought that I didn't see him go in there, but I saw him go into the chicken coop and I was like, all right, this is it. And I went and grabbed the snake catcher. I walked in the chicken coop and instantly got him by the neck. Pinched his air hole closed. It took about maybe 2 to 3 minutes and he was gone. And I just walked him to the end of the property with him on the snake catcher just in case. You never know with these things. He was flapping around a few times. I buried him. And he's probably going to come back again. And maybe I'll give him another 1,000 chances. But it's to the point where I think I'm going to have to remove his lineage from existence. I'm going to have to prevent him from propagating. I'm going to have to resolve the issue here. And it's just a sad thing. I think the lesson here to me is whenever you get stuck in these karmic cycles or whatever you want to look at it like, you don't have to look at it like that. You could look at it like everything has an equal and opposite reaction. You could look at it as, you know, causal relationships, as consequence, whatever. However you want to look at it, it's all basically pointing to the same thing. It's the mathematics of life, and it's not like a numbers thing. It's not a numbers game. It's not like the physical laws or whatever, but it is a real thing. It's like a pathological law or a psychological law or a spiritual law, if you are comfortable going there. But whenever you get caught in these karmic loops, maybe behaviors, addictions, maybe you get bullied into believing you're not as good as you think you are, or you get bullied into thinking you're less than, and you get stuck in that. You know, everybody has their own complexes about themselves, but the lesson here, I think, is we need to do better every day than we did the day before, and it's okay to make mistakes, and hopefully you're afforded grace enough to learn. And you should probably afford others grace so that they have a chance to learn too, because we're all in this together, and it goes on forever. But the thing we need to strive for is to get out of this wheel of reincarnation altogether so that we can move to the next phase of reality. I think, anyway. I have not directly observed it except for psychedelic experiences, but that's how I feel about it. So, that's the lesson. Maybe in the next life I'll reincarnate as a tree and I can learn about patience and understanding. I can learn about holding everything together, cleaning up everybody's mess in the air, fixing the soil. Anyway, that's all I've got today. This one was a long one. I apologize. But maybe you appreciate that. Anyway. Stay safe out there. Try to be kind. I know it's hard sometimes. Don't be afraid to fight for yourself and your family whenever you have to. And don't feel like kindness or forgiveness is a weakness, because it's a necessary part of life. Anyway, good night.